Yes, good afternoon, officers. Time for a very short and very important video. The recent flight crash and today's helicopter crash. Basically, the flight crash, you've seen it's a very, very sad news. But conceptually, what are the things that we have to pick up from this flight crash and what can be done about it is all dependent on something called the black box. So that gives the evidence of what actually happened within the flight. So this topic is very, very important. You are bound to get a question in UPSC. So black box, it looks like this. Flight recorder, so it not open. So last minute things can also be recorded in this. So very, very important concept. You are bound to get a question. Therefore, it is very important. So let's look at what are the features of it. And before we go ahead, June 30th, we are starting a batch. Use the code SP Live, Shaman Paidikonda Live, for 15 to 20% discount. The fees is 1,20,000. It will be reduced to 1 lakh or 1,05,000. I'll personally make sure that you get the discount. So it's a reduction on your burden on your parents. So please use it. Batch June 30th. If you have any queries, you can call 81211-91985. Tell your name, use this code, get the discount. Simple. So moving on, concepts. What are the concepts involved? Let's have a quick glance. So here, look at this cockpit voice recorder. This is how the cockpit voice recorder looks like, and that's the flight crash. So what is this black box? Let's have a quick review. The black box is not actually black, but it is painted bright orange for high visibility. And it has two main components. One is called CVR, Cockpit Voice Recorder. It looks like this. Cockpit Voice Recorder. Itla kanpadutunnadi. Em chestundi recorder ani cheppadu kabatti it records pilot oka conversations and cockpit sounds anni kuda adi record chestundi. So CVR is the first component. The second component is FDR, Flight Data Recorder. So this data recorder em chestundante dantlo unna parameters height, altitude, speed anni kuda record chestundi. So records flight parameters like speed, altitude, engine data. So these are the two major components of the black box. One is CVR, Cockpit Voice Recorder. So pilot conversations anni record avutayi. FDR, Flight Data Recorder. Parameters like speed, altitude, engines anni kuda measure chestayi. So combination of these two is going to give you what is called the black box, which is painted in bright orange. So that is a point. So post-crash investigations key, the black box is very, very important, just like the recent incident, very sad incident. So let's look at more details. So actually, black box ravalante, it should have started long back. So let's look at 1950s lo em chesaru, 1970s, 80s lo em vadaru, 1990s lo em vadaru, 2020s lo em vadaru. So 1950s lo they have used 1950s, they used something called metal foil tapes. That was a technology which was used. So metal foil tapes itla kanpadtayi, right? Deen valla early FDRs recorded physical impressions on the foil. So foil meeda impressions padtayi. That is how they recorded in 1950s. 50s mein aisa hua using this metal foils. 1970s, 80s lo if you look at it, magnetic tapes vadaru. This is how the magnetic tape looks like. So this is the case of this and this is the case of this. So moving on. So magnetic tapes ఏంటంటే audio cassettes analog format. Cassettes మీద ఎట్లా రికార్డ్ అవుతాయో magnetic tapes మీద అట్లా రికార్డ్ అవుతాయి. This is how the magnetic tape looks like. So for your information. Next, 1990s lo they started solid state memory chips. This is how the solid state memory chips looks like. So chips manufacturing మొదలైంది, they started imprinting all those through electromagnetic spectrum use చేసి they used to print everything on the tapes. That's how it is used to happen. So they were more durable and high capacity chips, and now they have become a standard. So this is what happened in the 1990s. Later 2020s lo real time telemetry, that is the new thing which is popping up, transmitting flight data via satellite. So this is the future and it's already happening. So these are the major eras lo what technologies have been used. So this is very important because prelims lo appudu em chestarante historical questions అడుగుతారు. ఇప్పుడు కరెంట్ అందరూ చదువుతారు, therefore historical మర్చిపోతారు. So there's a heavy chance of asking a historical questions. So 50s lo they used metal foil, 70s lo they used magnetic tapes, 1990s lo solid state memory chips, and 2020s lo telemetry via satellite. So metal foil tapes itla untai, magnetic tapes this how they look, and solid state memory chips will look like this. So this is the primary information which you must know before getting into the details of the current technology. So these are all very, very important. So prelims ki chala important. So moving on, let's look at each technology quick glance. Solid state memory technology ante enti moving parts em undav, data directly electronical ga store cheskuntaru. It directly stores data electronically. Simple example, USB pen drive laga but harder version. So this is how it looks. So this is how the solid state memory chips looks like from the outside. Inside local tapes at long. Next, ULB, underwater locator beacon. ఏం చేస్తుందంటే it pings for locate black boxes underwater. So అందుకే underwater locator beacon. So black box flight crash లో నేను వెళ్ళిపోతే this ULB is utilized to catch that particular black box. So ప్రతి flight కి black box ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి this ULB technology will use to catch the black box underwater, emits sound 30 days post crash. That is the advantage of this ULBs. So ఒక్కసారి చూస్తే ULB ఇట్లా ఉంటుంది, underwater locator beacon. This is the ULB part. So if you look at it, so this will stay active for 30 days post crash. దాని వల్ల అది radar పంపించి black box ఎక్కడ ఉందో ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తుంది. It will identify where the black box is, so we'll know where the plane crashed and went underwater or something like that. So very, very useful technology, ULB. So heavy chance of a prelims question coming from this one as well as this one. Solid state memory chip, moving parts em undadu, it stores data electronically just like USB pen drive. But ULB pings to locate black box location post crash. So 30 days post crash when it works, and this is how the ULB looks like. This white thing which is there. So this part is the ULB part. So 30 days, that's the point. Next, FDAU, ante flight data acquisition unit. What it collects and sends flight into FDR. So this will collect and send it to your FDR chips. So like a central sensor reader la untunnamata, that is our main function. So FDAU flight data acquisition, this looks like this. So if you observe this, all the diagrams, all the pictures have been taken so that it is easy for you to imagine how it looks like, so that you know really how it looks like. So FDAU flight data acquisition unit collects and sends flight into FDR. So this is how the flight data acquisition unit looks like. Oka chinna cap like untadi, manam car lo pettukuntam kada charging point, atla aa shape lo untundi, bell shape la untundi. So that is how your FDAU looks like. So it acts like a central sensor reader. Next, reflective coating plus locator IDs is another technology which is used. Post crash visibility and traceability ki chala panikostundi. Example, fluorescent paint GPS based IB chips. So this is reflective coating plus locator ID. So these are all the major technologies which are used for post crash dependencies. Flight lo already install chesinavi. One is solid state memory chip, that's very important. Solid state memory, ULB underwater locator beacon, FDAU flight data acquisition unit, and reflective coating plus locator IDs. Explanations in simple words have been done, and examples kuda clear ga mention cheyadam jarigindi for you to easily understand. And these are all the diagrams: solid state memory chip, ULB underwater locator beacon, and FDAU flight data acquisition unit. So these are all the major points. So prelims and mains ki రెండిటికి చాలా useful. Majorly you can stress on prelims part. This is how the parts look like. So very, very important. And finally, why are black boxes very, very important? Chala important. Why important? Post crash investigation, reconstruct last moments and find the root cause. New aviation safety protocols ki chala panikostundi. CVR and FDR, the two major components of the black box, is used to build AI driven diagnostics and simulations cheyadaniki. Aircraft Acceleration Invention Bureau, Delhi lo 2025 lo new flight record lab in Delhi 2025 emphasizes on indigenous R&D under Make in India program for CVR as well as FDR technology. Alignment with ICAO, which is International Civil Aviation Organization standards. So these are all the why the black box is very important. First one for investigation, second one for safety protocols, third one CVR and FDR simulations and AI driven diagnostics key. Next, this Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau AAIB Delhi establishment akkada lab chestunaru, and indigenous R&D for CVR as well as FDR key. These are all the bases. And finally ICAO, which is International Civil Aviation Organization standards ni align cheyadaniki. That means you follow those protocols. So these are all the purposes for why the black boxes are very important. And finally, components, their purpose, the key technology and the future trend endo kuda okasari chusedam. So quick glance at this particular thing. So if you observe, CVR, Cockpit Voice Recorder, records cockpit voice. Example, audio chips and encryption. Future lo live transmission kuda cheyochu. This is one major point you can mention. Next, FDR, flight data recorder. It logs flight parameters like speed, height, altitude and all these things. Example, key technology used is solid state storage. Next, future lo satellite telemetry will be the future. So this is second major point you can mention. Next, ULB, underwater locator beacon, emits pings after the crash, directly sends it to the FDR. So presently they are using hydroacoustic signals. Future, solar powered beacons vaadamani plan. This is the future. Third major point. Next, FDAU, flight data acquisition unit. It gathers data. So prastaniki DSP, digital signal processor vaartunaru. Future lo we can use AI based diagnostics. So this is the fourth major point you can mention. So these are all the components, the purpose as well as the key tech and the future lo etla vadali. So if you observe CVR Cockpit Voice Recorder, finally can be live transmitted. FDR flight data recorder, currently using solid state storage, it can be moved into satellite technology. ULB, underwater location beacon, adi pings after the crash, currently using hydroacoustic signals, it will be shifted to solar powered beacons. And FDIU, flight data acquisition, it gathers data. Currently they are using DSPs, that is digital signal process, and that will be shifted towards AI models. That is the key thing which can happen for future, which you can mention in your mains very beautifully. So these are all the future trends, the current technologies for your black box technology. And whole purpose, it is under which governance? Under civil aviation, under aircraft rules 1937, data regulations and safety compliance as per ICAO norms. The CVR privacy protection remains a debated legal issue. This is the issue. Real-time satellite data transmission to avoid black box loss. That's also very important. And finally, dual location data storage on board plus cloud. This is the most important point. So physical and cloud, rendu kuda chala important. And finally, indigenous manufacturing of FDR and CVR units. That is the upcoming future. So these are all the points that you have to pick from this black box theory. So if you look at it, Ministry of Civil Aviation, safety compliances, CVR privacy protection, real-time satellite data transmission to avoid black box loss, dual location, this is very important, data storage, one physical, that is on board, and one is on the cloud, and indigenous manufacturing of CVR as well as FDR units. This is the future and it already started. Delhi already lab established jarigindi, so it's very good. So moving on, ఒక్కసారి quick glance, CVR cockpit voice, FDR flight data recorder, ULB underwater locator, FDIU flight data acquisition units, and I've clearly mentioned audio chips encryption, solid state storage, hydroacoustic signals, digital signal processor, live transmission, satellite telemetry, solar powered beacons, AI based diagnostics. These are the future technologies. So why black box is important? Post crash investigation, safety protocols, CVR FDR, aircraft accident investigation, indigenous R&D, alignment with ICAO. And these are all the technologies: solid state memory, ULB underwater beacon, IDIU reflective coating plus locator. Explanations are given, simple examples like USB, 30 days, very important, central sensor reader laga, and fluorescent and GPS paint, and these are all solid state memory chips itla untai. ULB underwater locator beacon looks like this, the white thing, and FDIU flight data acquisition units looks like a small bell type of thing, which is very important. So next, 1950s lo they used metal foil tapes, which looks like this. 1970s lo magnetic tapes, which looks like this. And 1990s lo solid state memory chips, which look like this. Bite nunchi indikala picture la untadi. 2020s lo real time telemetry using satellite. That's the technology. And what is black box? It's not black, but it is bright orange. That is very important. Two major components: cockpit voice recorder and FDR, flight data recorder. So మనం ఇందాక అండర్ వాటర్ వెళ్ళినా సరే అండర్ వాటర్ లో కనుక్కున్న తర్వాత ఇట్ విల్ సెండ్ బ్యాక్ టు ది FDR, that means flight data recorder, and that's how we find the black box using ULBs, underwater locator beacons. యూజ్ బ్లాక్ బాక్స్ ఎక్కడ ఉందో మనం ఈజీగా కనుక్కోవడం జరుగుతుంది. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ ద థింగ్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ for your prelims as well as for your mains. We should be extremely sorry for the big loss that has happened and for their families. May all the souls be rest in peace. And most important thing, this kind of incidents again should not happen. With the available technology, it should not happen. So let's hope that these kind of accidents for the rest of their life, no one should face such kind of tragedies in life. So keeping that in mind, please concentrate on the black box technology. It is very, very important. So this is how the black box looks like. If you look at it, this is how they look. FDRs as well as GVR. So that's how they look. So major components, CVR and FDR, that is what you have to concentrate, and all the technologies have been clearly mentioned. So have a quick review of this. I hope all of you like the video. If you like the video, please like, share, comment, subscribe. And if you have any comments, please put it on. And whatever help we can do, we are going to do it from Sriram's Hyderabad. So have a nice day. Shaman Paidikonla signing off for today. Your work, revise, revise, revise. That's all. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.